demo for Aion Assault on Balaurea. My name is Chris Hager, and I'm the producer for Aion for NC West. I've got Aiden Baptiste here. They're going to be my drivers. They're going to be helping me out today. So we'll go ahead and get started. We'll tell you a little bit about. We're going to tell you about where Aion is, what we've been doing since we launched, and what's coming down in the near future. So Aion Assault on Balaurea is going to be the next update. It's going to be coming out on retail let me backtrack. It's going to be free for all of our existing users. It's a free expansion that we're giving to everybody who's got an active account. It's going to be also a new box product. So if you are a new player or want to go buy it, it'll be on the retail shelves in Germany on the 17th of September. It'll be on the shelves on the 10th of September for the rest of Europe. And we'll be updating the servers live on the 7th of September. So if you're an existing player, you're going to get it on the 7th. Otherwise, you can pick it up on the shelves on the 10th or the 17th. So just to give everybody a little bit of a background, this is Atrium. This is the world of Aion as we know. We've got Helios, which is a race that lives on the very bottom part. They're bathed in sunlight. So we'll show you an example in just a minute, but they're very glowing in nature and almost too self-assured of themselves. On the exact opposite side, we've got the Asmodean race. They're kind of a cold, hard people, which, again, we've got a character example for you. Right in the middle here, we've got the Abyss, which is the first encounter for the Balaurea, which is our AI-controlled faction. And what we'll come to find out is the Balaurea actually live on the shell, the outside part of the world, which is where Assault on Balaurea takes place. We're actually taking the fight to the Balaurea home. So this is Krathon. He is going to be our main character for the Helios going forward. You're going to see him a lot in our. You're going to see him in a lot of our creative ads. You can see him as a rallying figure for the Helios faction. Next, we've got Ava. You may recognize her from launch and from every time you log into the game, the first login screen is her. She's going to be a recurring character, again like Krathon. We're going to try to make her the hero, more or less, for the Asmodean. And then you've got the Balaurea. These guys are a draconic race that, again, we see first in the Abyss with the launch of Aion, and now we're seeing on their home world in Balaurea. So where is 1.9, or where has Aion been since we launched? The first major update we had was back in June, and it was the 1.9 update, and it was based pretty much on player feedback. It was based on the fact that players wanted more quests, they wanted more loot, and they wanted everything cheaper, which, as a gamer, that's what I want to. So we delivered. We heard everybody, and we added new quests, and we added new daily quests. We increased the quest XP to make the leveling a little bit better. We added new loot. We increased drop rates for a lot of the mobs in game. We also added new class skills. We added a looking for group feature. We added weapons fusion. We added a lot, and that was a free update that we did back in June. And basically, all of those updates kind of set the tone and set the path for Assault on Balaurea, which is our next major expansion. What does Assault on Balaurea bring? It brings 5 new levels, so the level cap is now 55. It brings 8 new instances, 3 new solo instances, and 5 regular instances, and 1 2-man group, so 1 raid instance. It brings persistent zones. This is actually Ingeson, which is the Helios. This is Gelfaros, which is the Asmodean, and this is Solitaire Canyon. We've got a video to kind of show the dynamics of these 3 zones in just a little bit, so I won't go too much into them, but they're all interconnected, and there's the players can flow back and forth if they meet certain conditions. So right now we're going to join our drivers. Aiden's going to be a 55 player. We're going to show you a little bit about the new zones we just touched on, and some of the other new features in game. One thing you're going to notice about the zones right away is that they're multi-dimensional, and they're multiple levels. Kind of, you see high islands, you see low islands, you see, points staggered all on there. The point is, we really want players to use gliding. When we introduced gliding back when we launched, it was something that players really took hold of, and it's something that in this new zone is going to be more important. Especially when we have the jet streams right here, which you can kind of see. It adds a new way to travel. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. The one nice thing about these zones is that they have a really unique feel. It doesn't look like it's the same cookie cutter zones that we had before. This zone, like all the others, has a really good, really unique feel. Because it's the Balaurea home world, they were able to use a lot of different aesthetics, like a lot of different architecture, and a lot of different plants and animals and creatures you've never seen before, because it's a completely unexplored zone. There's Nellius right there. Let's take care of him. So while they fight, we're going to show a couple of new skills. Baptiste's going to use one of his gladiator skills, and Aiden's going to use this new player skill right here called Lightning. The one nice thing about all the skills that you see right there, they're really visually stunning. It's not like you hit a button and you see a little flash. They set the precedent earlier with some of the highlight skills, and they just kind of raise the bar even higher. So excuse me. So the Elias is trying to run. He feels like he's outgunned. So they both hopped into one of the wind streams. This is one of the cool new ways that you can get around the new maps. Unlike the current travel system, you can actually duck in and out of these as well, which is really nice. So if you're being chased by someone like that, you can kind of duck out and go your own way. Otherwise, you can kind of explore. If you see something interesting in the map, you can kind of duck out, turn to the left, turn to the right, and see. And if you don't, there's a bunch of people down there, you're just not interested, you hop back right in the gesture. We think players are going to use this for travel. We think players are going to use this for PvP. I personally have played Practical Jokes on the QA team. Well, I'll have a bunch of the other production people sitting over here, and I'll get one of them to chase me, and then I'll get off, and then he'll veer off, and then I'll kill him. So it's kind of fun, and it definitely adds a new element to the game that I think players are really going to enjoy. So now we're going to get into a little bit more about how these maps work and how they interact. So right now we have Asmodean side, which is Gelmaros, and in each one of these zones we have two fortresses, here and here. Initially they're controlled by the Balaurea, but after that, they're just like the fortresses in the Abyss, they can be taken over. Once they take over both of those fortresses, it opens up this gate, which allows access to a Cylindric cannon that I talked about earlier. Cylindric cannon has a PvE instance in it, but it also allows access through this point to the other race's zone. If the other race can get into that zone, if they can take over the other two forts, then the other race's deity is going to spawn. We've got an example of the Helios deity right here. Now the deity is important because it's A, really high power, but B, it also drops some of the best loot in the game. So this is definitely going to be something that players are going to want to do, but it's definitely going to be hard to do as well. Likewise, if the Helios manage to get over and capture and spawn the Asmodean deity, this is kind of what they'll see. Just to give you an example, these are characters behind me. It's huge, huge scale. So it's going to feel like a really epic battle whenever these things do. So we're going to go back in game. Now that we've talked a little bit about how the zones interact, we're going to go into the instances. Like I said, we've got two solo instances. We've got one that is at 18 and one that is at 37. And the nice thing that I like about what we've done with 2.0 is we've not only added new content to the game, we've also taken a look at the old content, the 1 to 50 content, and we found areas that we can improve, because there are always areas to improve. Players are always going to have